John Doe Radio.
Radio.
brain is made for thinking, not pubic experiment. It's hardly a tinker toy or experimenting. Stop fuming with drugs.
Why do we talk about marijuana? It's the single biggest drug that is a source of some confusion.
This is really about educating the public about the fact that marijuana is a less harmful drug.
Marijuana, that's to get high.
You can be as high as you want.
The prohibition of marijuana over the last 71 years has not actually prevented you from using marijuana.
You feel weak.
Closer to winning the war.
I do believe there have been some successes.
We will never arrest our way out of this problem.
Welcome to the John Doe Radio Show. I am your host, John Doe. Thank you very much for hanging out with us. Our co-host, Mike Holly, is next to me.
Morning.
How you doing, buddy?
Great. How you doing this morning?
I'm doing fantastic. Why am I talking in a high voice? I don't know. I'm doing great today. Last night was a fantastic evening that I had. I can't get this. That mouse is such a pain in the ass sometimes. Sorry about the sound there. It gets stuck. The laser thing is obviously not working very well.
Time for a new mouse.
It's time for a new mouse. Why am I think it's going to be crazy weird voice day today. I apologize to everybody already ahead of time.
Can you do the whole show in a weird voice?
I could probably do it, but then it would have 0 listens.
No, I believe the opposite.
The listenership is growing, man. It's growing. It's nice.
Good.
We picked up a new sponsor yesterday, too.
You didn't tell me that.
I think I told you that we were going to pick up some, maybe possibly a couple.
Oh, yeah.
We actually picked up Compassionate Pain Management yesterday.
Sweet Lord.
Compassionate Pain Management. And listeners of the John Doe Radio Show, before our year hiatus, would recognize Compassionate Pain Management because they've been a sponsor of us before. So Sean and everybody over there at CPM, just fantastic, supportive people. And dude, it's one of the I went to the Lakewood shop yesterday, and it's one of the nicest shops that you can go into. It's comforting.
Where is it in Lakewood?
Ladies at the desk were just completely. One of my what?
Where is it in Lakewood?
Oh, okay. It's at 1585 Quail Street.
So Colfax and Quail?
Yeah, Lakewood, Colorado. 1585 Quail Street. 303-232-3620. But we went over there. I think one of the coolest things, and this is what sticks out to me every time I go to a new business, and I already knew this about this place, but it struck me again, is how great their customer service is. And we
customer service is definitely key.
Yeah. I mean, the greens have just, like, improved. It's awesome. I mean, they had good stuff before. As I said yesterday here on the John Doe Radio Show, we don't really pick, lemons, I don't think.
I've never been there.
That.
So what do they have over there? What did you see?
A mix of everything.
You saw some buds?
Mm-hmm.
Did you see some hash?
Actually, yeah, I didn't see any hash.
Okay.
Well, I mean, there's hash there, but I didn't look very closely there.
Okay.
We just went over to go take care of things. And
sure.
We're gonna get specials from them. They have some fantastic ounce specials. So if you want to call them and find those out, that would be a fantastic idea if you're here in Denver. 303-232-3620. People look for good dispensaries to go to and stick with, and there's a few. This is probably one of them. Not probably, it is.
Any strains stick out? Do you remember seeing any strains?
I didn't get to try any yesterday.
Did you see any?
I did see. Let's see. I did see some strains that were going to be coming up.
What'd you see?
There's some pre-98 Bubba Kush.
Mm-hmm.
Looked pretty good, and God, my memory is so horrible. I can't remember his other few ones.
A lot of stuff going on.
Put me under the light here.
A lot of stuff going on under that hat.
We haven't written a commercial for him yet, so.
Right on. I was just, seeing what we saw.
Yeah, no. I don't want to mention everything that I saw.
Really?
Because, yeah, well, I mean.
I hear you. Yeah.
These guys they were visited by CNN. And so they have a CNN piece.
Do they have a warrant?
That'll be
airing. They just show up.
No, they were very. Sean was, made sure that he was very respectful of our community.
Was it Larry King or Wolf Blitzer who showed up?
Larry King doesn't work for CNN anymore.
Oh, my
He
bad.
does his own like
I haven't watched
internet
TV.
podcast or something now. He's like does a video internet podcast. But no,
If Larry King showed up here and said he was with CNN, I'd believe him. That's how out of the loop I am.
I saw something. Dude, I heard a few things about Larry King. I won't mention him now. Like he has bad breath and farted a lot, and
Donald Trump said that.
people kept commenting. Well, yeah, even before Donald Trump said that, though. Like back when I was in high school, I had heard that one of my teachers had said something about like they had worked
did you-
in the studio.
how did your
Larry
teacher-
King, and he had like a fan underneath the desk,
Come on.
and it was like blowing towards him, just in case he ever.
How was your teacher involved with Larry
Flatulated.
King?
He worked in the studio or something, like as like a cable. I can't remember what they're called, the cable guys.
Here? You went
No,
to,
not here.
You went to
Like
high
out in-
school here, obviously. Right?
Out in New York or something. This was like when the guy was like really young.
I got you.
And I don't even know if it was like I may not be even remembering right, or he may have just been making shiz up.
Just wondering, that's all.
Oh man, there's been a dog at the house. Oh, by the way, God, we get into all this other stuff, and I had my mind on a few other things today, and completely.
Good.
It feels weird after you don't have somebody here for a minute. It's just like
I hear you. That's probably why I'm overreacting, overstimulated here, asking you all sorts
No,
of
you're
weird
doing
questions.
fine. You're doing
Thanks.
fantastic.
Thanks.
But yeah, Chad couldn't make it in today, unfortunately. So yeah, he's probably listening
I
though.
wonder if Chad's in the chat room.
So what up, Chad? What you doing, man? Yeah, but he couldn't make it in today.
No,
so.
he's not here. No, Ned.
Dude, last night.
Ned Jr.
Last night I went to Hood Lab and saw a bunch of people that I haven't got to see in quite a while. Probably mostly because of my fault. Not probably, 100% because of my fault. And we all came together, to celebrate Niles' life. Niles Puckett. And we talked about him earlier this week. One of the nicest guys that I've ever met and last night I learned so much more about Niles. It was fantastic. Fantastic guy. And it was proven by how many people showed up. It was, everybody showed up. Everybody in, as we've come through the past, as we formed medical marijuana here in Colorado, as we fought for the rights that we have now, as we fought for dispensaries, we've sort of formed this big, massive group of people, and every single one of them almost have branched off into their own leadership here in Colorado. And like I was telling Chad as we were going home last night, I was like, dude, you just hung out with probably some people that are going to be pretty damn powerful someday because of the companies they own. You, dude, probably someday. I'm sitting here, looking at the beginning of somebody starting a pretty damn promising career, probably with cannabis too, right here.
Launch it.
I'm not saying I'm launched.
Launch it.
I have nothing to do with the launch. It's everything to do with the things that you're doing behind the scenes, and that goes with a lot of people that we were hanging with last night, and some people we've seen, go through some really rough times. I got to hang out with Derek last night. It's the first time I've seen him in just ridiculous amount of time. He was very kind.
Right on.
And I saw Adam Dunn. That was very cool. He put me in a headlock. I missed him. And I saw his kid getting big. Awesome kid. And where was I going with everything? It was kind of overwhelming at first. It was an interesting, awesome situation. Kind of the first time, I've gotten into anything too crazy personal here. But it was fun. And Niles, brought everybody together. And, to celebrate an awesome life. Pictures up of him, throughout his life. And when he was a kid, his dad was there. I got to meet his dad and his mom. Well, I met his mom before, but
Right on.
and dude, it's no wonder that he was such a nice, awesome guy. Like that's really, honestly, dude, it was awesomely, crazily awesome to as we get into JDR speak there. It was crazy awesome to see that many people and to talk with his parents and all that. So really cool.
Good memorial.
And I've never seen that many people together in a long time. That's where I was going with all that too. Dude, we formed a pretty damn big, cool group of awesome people that really are doing. I mean, Miguel was there, organizer of the 420 event here in Denver. I mean, that's gonna be a massive event this year. It's a 2-day event. Do you know how many people are gonna be?
It's gonna take 2 days to celebrate 420 here.
Dude.
I hear you.
Another thing that was brought up is like, as we start to roll into this, and people walk around with pieces more openly. I'm not too shy necessarily about carrying around I don't usually carry any greens on me or anything like that, and the paraphernalia is legal. I mean, it still has residue and stuff in it, but I mean, it's way under the legal limit. You may have a problem with like them being like, "Oh, that's heroin," and you'd be like, "No, it's not."
Resin in a weed pipe.
Yeah, dude. You never know what a cop's gonna do.
I hear you.
I mean, Chad tells me stories. I mean, we said that story of. I actually listened to the Red Band guy.
Red Band.
That works at River Rock as a trimmer, and he got pulled over, and they found in a non-injectable syringe, like RSO, basically.
Sure,
edible
the activated hash oil.
Activated hash oil. And it was black, and they took him to jail, and he spent a couple days in jail.
Well, they tested
until they tested it. And dude, I mean,
really
so you
like
never
that
know,
either.
man. Sorry for turning my back on everybody. I'm sitting here, actually facing bike here.
Hello.
I don't feel the necessary need to have to be like right and left since Chad's not here. I do realize how important he is though, because I was like at the last minute I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to take notes. I'm gonna have to be more witty. We're gonna.
You got plenty to say.
You feel some good time here, man. Oh, and where I was going with all that. Oh, I'm all over the place today. Sorry, everybody. Chris Custer, who used to produce here at iCannabis Radio.
Yep.
He goes to him and he's like, and you do sound like Ned.
Nice. I'm glad it's not just me. Here's that.
And he's like, do I sound like Country Ned or Young Ned? He's like, you just sound like Ned.
Yeah, just like Ned.
Listening back to the show, he sounds more like Ned on the show than... It's close. I don't think it's as much as we make it out to be. Anyway, I'm trying to think if I jumped around too much there. See, man, it keeps me in line. I think it keeps my focus there. So, what'd you do last night? Did you hang out?
Last night, I had some cake. And
It was your birthday.
a lot of cake. Had some cake and passed out, pretty much.
Cake and passed out.
Yeah.
Was the cake pretty good? We're
Yeah.
about ready to eat it here in a minute.
Yeah, it's in the kitchen. You can have some.
Awesome. You just got into a swanky. You're like,
Non-medicated
you're trying to sweet talk me there
with some cake.
with some sweets.
Free candy.
Hey, now I'm not getting in no van. I don't know. I should just stick to the news today.
What do you got? I've been waiting.
Sometimes
for you.
I can be funny, but I think today is one of them days where I'm like,
You're in a good mood.
No, I'm in a good mood.
Go with it.
I'm not feeling very quick today, though. I need a coffee. I'm not tired.
I really want you to go back to that Washington story.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I thought a little bit more about that, too. I'm not going to, change my thoughts on it,
No.
but I think I may have...
Get some more ammo.
I don't know about today. I may not be able to explain it as well as I can sit here and...
Take your hat off. Let your brain breathe. Get it out.
I got hat hair. My hair always,
Sounds like you need to change your conditioner.
I wear a hat. Hair's wet. If I wear a hat, if my hair's anything, dude. Hat hair, bed head.
Sleep with your hat on.
No.
Shower. Ever take a shower? With your hat?
Sometimes a few days in a row I'll get into the... Do I ever take a shower?
Have you ever taken a shower with your hat on?
No.
Okay. Just seeing the extent of your hat love.
My hat... No, I'm not taking my hat off. You're embarrassing me.
I'm seeing the extent of your hat love. That's all. I didn't ask you to take it off.
Nope. The extent of my what? I'm
Hat-
trying to look if
Hat love.
I'm not gonna tell. No. I'm not even gonna tell you what the thought that popped in my brain there.
Thank you.
A little disturbing.
Share
no.
it. Share that shiz.
Damn it, dude! I was going on to something and I completely forgot.
Go ahead. Washington, Boston. What?
You distract me like crazy. You do crack me up though.
You crack me up. I don't even know what the hell I'm saying.
All right. We're gonna stick with the news here today. And in my whole rambling, I also forgot to mention that AJ Hasman, I think, will be here today. AJ directs the MMJ meet and greets here in Denver, and then they're getting bigger and bigger. And I think it's a good thing that people are going to these things. This music
Note
is distracting me
to
today.
JDR staff. Delete this from the rotation. The song.
No, I'm gonna edit
This is
it.
like
I like it. I love
like
the
I'm
song.
a Barbie girl in a Barbie world type of reason.
This beat right here is dope. I could edit the beginning out and just keep this, because this part is dope. No?
Too much trance for your pants.
Such a hater.
Wicked picky.
If you're gonna distract me today, then you have to keep notes, because I'm not gonna remember where the hell we're going today.
You gotta have direction in order to know what the hell direction you want to go in. So
The camera caught that too.
what was on?
I don't know. I was ready to like.
You spraying?
No, went down the wrong tube. See how watery my eyes are?
Yeah, you look like you
My
just
eyes
took
are all
a
watery.
huge bong hit. Head rush. High.
Excuse me, everybody. Oh, the show is rolling along
Yeah,
smoothly.
pick a story.
What was I getting into? I can't even remember.
You were getting the story right quick.
Oh yeah, I was talking about AJ.
Oh yeah.
The marijuana
MMJ
meets.
meet and greet.
And
Oriental
it's a
Theater.
fantastic event. They're not at the Oriental Theater all the time anymore.
Shows you
This
what
one's
the
at the
hell I know.
Aslan Theater. I
Where's
think they're
where's
now
that?
at the Aslan Theater.
Where
It's
that
off of
ass?
Broadway.
Broadway.
Or no, at the end of Santa Fe. At the end of Santa Fe.
Inglewood?
We'll talk to him about it he should be here. I think he's going to be here. Told me yesterday he was going to be here.
Right on.
If my phone makes a Mario Brothers coin sound, then if my phone makes a Mario Brothers coin sound, I'm sure it's him. I almost died there.
What's in your bowl over there?
My bowl.
What's
what?
in the bowl, bitch?
Oh, that's my beef stew.
Nice.
My mostly eaten beef stew. I didn't get it all finished before the show started. Would you get all creative with the microphone over there?
Yeah.
Turn around and like he's.
It was all tipsy before.
Ah,
Like it
dude.
won't tip over now. I think
They're gonna come in and the next show's gonna come in and
be like, what?
they're gonna be like, "What the hell is going on here?" Oh, Chad's in the chat room. Give Tim some crap.
Listen, you got a story.
The Hemp Connoisseur Radio is on it today at 4 Mountain Time. So make sure you check that out. It's a good show. Fantastic show.
How fantastic is it?
4 to 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Dude, they had Adam on last week, man, and they talked about hemp, which. Oh,
Hey,
today.
did you see?
I would just sit and listen to me just fumble all day. The Hemp Connoisseur talked about hemp. No way! Holy crap! No, but it was. It's tons of great information. The guy's a great host. Fantastic, dude. It's worthy of, just like every show I think here on Cannabis iCannabis Radio. I'm not just trying to single out the Hemp Connoisseur. It's just this information is so a lot of the information that they talk about when it comes to hemp is so sort of new to me, and there's more and more people becoming experts here in Colorado, and now that we have this hemp push going through yesterday at the Capitol, people were talking about last night how they were pushing the hemp industrial bills, and Jason Love was one of the people that got this the 10-year study for hemp through. Adam Dunn was down there. And I mean, it's becoming more and more of an issue here because it was put in Amendment 64 that legalization of hemp was going to happen. So the problem is why I think nobody's jumping into it, and we'll talk more about hemp too here. But you can also go listen to the Hemp Connoisseur Radio.
I want to learn about hemp.
4 to 5 p.m.
I'm excited it's going to be growing here.
Yeah, and it's something that that if you're an activist or you're a true connoisseur of cannabis, you should learn about. I mean, it's just something that you should educate yourself about, expand your knowledge, and I'll be the first to say, that I don't know as much as I should. And there's tons of, there's always, hemp pushes being going through and talks being had. So, anyway, check those guys out if you want to learn more about them. Yeah, it's cool. I cannot wear. If I can. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
You did.
Try to pay attention after Brittany was hounding me so much yesterday after the show. Brittany and Matt Rice.
You have your back to the back to the chat room right now.
Anyway.
Yeah. Anyways, you heard the cup is less than a month away now.
It is. But one more thing about hemp is
hemp.
Like my hemp hoodlum shirts. A little plug there. But any hemp shirt that I've had has been one of the most comfortable shirts I've worn. And if I could wear hemp all the time, I think everybody that wears hemp says this, It lasts long. It's fantastic material. It gets more comfortable as you go along.
You can't smoke it, so it'll be around for a long time.
Granted, that's true. Now, granted, hemp I just completely brain farted there. It's one of those days. I've been doing good up until today. Keeping things together. See how important chat is? All right. Anyway, there's other shows on iCannabis Radio going on. In the Lab with Jennifer, Georgia. Those shows are on Monday. Make sure you go to iCannabisRadio.com and check out the Listing Tuesday Sexpot Radio with Jenny Cush, 6 to 8 p.m. Mountain Time. Wednesdays, I'm not sure if iDab Radio is doing their thing anymore. Haven't heard their show in quite a while. I think the last show that they did was one I produced.
Wow,
No,
that was
they
a long
didn't.
time
They
ago.
didn't. No. I'm wrong. Never mind. They did a few after me, I think. But you can go to iCannabis Radio and check out all these. And, of course, John Doe Radio, 11 to 1 Mountain Time on iCannabis Radio. All right. Big thanks to Warren Edson, Maiden and Mats, Criminal Defense, 2130 South Bel Air Street, 2130 South Bel Air Street in Denver. Criminal Defense Medical Marijuana Business Consultation, 303-831-8188, 303-831-8188. And big thanks to Element 420 and Evo Lab, Alex and Americo for coming by yesterday and talking with us about CO2. It's fantastic. Next time.
Sorry, I broke your electro dabber attachment.
I told that story last night.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. I was like,
Go figure.
He-Man bike was trying to get the thing off and twisting it. You think that's the only time?
I was being gentle.
How many times do you think I've done that?
No, I hear you.
In the matter of, I don't know, when I was first learning how to.
That thing wasn't
I'm still a
ever
noob at
coming
glass
off.
blowing completely. So anybody listening ever
Would you say that you
thinks that I am like this, think that I'm an amazing glass blower or anything? I'm not
don't
even
go so
close.
far as to say that you suck at blowing glass?
Correct.
Thank you.
I mean,
No,
no,
'cause
I
I
still
paid-
suck. No, I still suck.
I've had your
But
rig.
not the way that you put it.
So,
But
go-
no, I've
go-
done what you did.
back to what you were saying. Go
Although
ahead.
you're lucky you didn't slice yourself like a mofo, dude. You could have easily been like, as you twisted that thing.
Like
as you
I said,
twisted that
I was
thing-
being gentle.
And by the way, we're talking about this the Atmos. What's it called again?
Oh,
It's this Atmos like
electro dabber.
electro dabber that has it's heated nail.
tie nail with a glass joint and a wire going through it.
Yeah.
It's
It was.
we, we didn't get to hit it though because I broke it.
I know. But you easily could have twisted that thing and then jabbed it into your hand.
But that's why I'll say it again for the third time. I was being gentle. It just broke.
They do that.
So
Anyway, all right. And big thanks to them, 303-945-4774. CO2 oil. Or I'm going to cross this out because they didn't CO2 extract.
there you go.
We were informed yesterday. Hey, if you listened, you'd be informed. 82 South Federal Boulevard. 82 South Federal Boulevard is where you can get this. They have a fantastic deal. Is it on Wednesdays?
Critical Wednesdays.
3 for $99.
Super critical Wednesdays. 3 for $99.
Fantastic deal there. And that's a lot of CO2 extract to medicate yourself on. And like I said, man, it is a clean, awesome medication, high, relief, whatever you want to call it. We all know that we... Dude, I'm absolutely positive that everybody gets some sort of medical benefit from ingesting cannabis. I'm not saying smoking cannabis.
Mm-hmm.
Even then, probably, though.
Mm-hmm. I do both.
That's why when I say all use is medical, I feel comfortable.
Life improving.
I feel comfortable with being able to say that. That's how much I believe that.
I like being medicated.
Completely forgot about drug that we're gonna one day have like
Drug?
It may be bastardized by the pharmaceutical industry, but still there'll be probably quite a few medications that are derived from it once the stigma starts to actually completely go away federally. You think so?
Decades from now.
But I mean, it's probably a drug that, quote unquote drug, I say there, a cannabis.
Careful with that word.
That's probably going to yield quite a few medicines. The more and more we dig into it, we're like, oh,
Listen,
it does that.
invent another disease.
Invent another disease.
Another disease will creep up on us.
Aye, aye, aye. All right,
Brown fly syndrome or something.
I'm checking my Facebook to see if...
To see if that story about Washington hiring a Boston firm is there?
Yeah, let's talk about that real fast.
Cool.
Before we delay too much longer. I was checking to see if AJ had messaged me back. Because I communicated with him on Facebook. Which I try not to be on that often. It stresses me out. All right, excusez-moi. Washington State's liquor control. Which one do I want to read first? This is the one I want to read first, I think. Washington State's Liquor Control Board announced Tuesday it had hired a UCLA professor who once wrote that state's legalization of marijuana can't be done. That a state's legalization of marijuana, quote, can't be done to be its first pot consultant and advise state officials as they develop rules for producing, taxing, and licensing the legal sale of pot. They say pot a lot. Pot a lot. The recreational use of marijuana approved by Washington voters in the November 6th general election took effect in the state December 6th, but it will still be a year before the state comes up with rules to license pot farmers and retailers to tax the sale of the product. The Liquor Control Board was tasked, which was tasked with coming up with the rules of how pot will be processed, produced, and sold. Announced it had hired a firm, Botech Analysis, based in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and its chief executive officer, Mark Kleiman, to be its marijuana consultant. Kleiman, who has spent 30 years in public policy, is considered an expert in criminal and drug policy. I think consultant is... I don't want to be misleading at all during this. I think consultant is a little... he's more than a consultant, I think. I think the dude's going to be making rules.
Who did he make his a final say?
Let's finish the article up before I give any opinion. I notice you're withholding your opinion. Kleiman, who has spent 30 years... I'm kidding. Kleiman, who has spent 30 years in public policy, is considered an expert in criminal drug policy. He couldn't be at Tuesday's news conference announcing his appointment because he was teaching classes at UCLA. Kleiman said in the past that the type of policy Washington State has can't work, not as long as pot is still illegal on the federal level. I get that. But that right there alone, like, let's just single out that right there. I mean, I understand what he's saying, and I don't think that we can really take it too much out of context other than...
What does he say? What's the next sentence?
All right. Let me find the whole thing, because this thing's cutting it up.
I mean, does he say, so we're going to find a way to make it work? I mean, why did they cut him off right there?
Where's the entire quote? I had it sitting right in front of here. There's one problem with legalizing, taxing, and regulating cannabis at the state level. It can't be done. It's going to have to be at the national level rather than state by state. Any other approach is a pipe dream. Like, pipe dream, dude. It even makes it even worse, in my opinion. Here's the thing. I'm not saying that he's not qualified and he's not going to do a good job. It's just like there's a few things that throw me off here. I'll go ahead and throw out my opinion here. Number one, I would rather have... I think, and I'm being kind to you, Washington, here when I say this, is because I'm giving you credit here. I'm saying, look, you are responsible enough when it comes to cannabis. You've been such a cannabis-oriented state for a while. From what I understand about Washington, you know, that's. I mean, they've had greens around for quite a while, and it's been pretty popular for a while. And you know, I would say that it's a pretty damn comfortable place for cannabis. So in that, I think there's plenty of people inside the state that are qualified to be able to do this consultation. There's plenty of people in Colorado. There's plenty of people in California. I mean, I understand that this head guy is a big head guy, and you know, Steep Hill Labs. I understand that there's a bunch of people put together with this. So the more I kind of learn about it, the more I think about it. It's not so much of a freaky idea, but I still hold to my opinion that I would rather see it be held in state. Everything. I mean, I would like to see them at the most have lobbyists that come in. I mean, I don't think that we had too many outside. I mean, we had outside interest here in Colorado, but for the most part, most things that we do here, and I, you know, think in Washington, are handled pretty readily by home rule. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
sure.
I mean that's my biggest beef with this situation. And I have another beef that combines all of Washington's situations. You know, we could talk about the 5 nanogram limit. We could talk about the taxation situation that's going to happen, the framework that's sort of allowed this. I just think that Washington could. I think they may be too careful for their own good. I'm trying to watch my words here, very. We have a lot of listeners in Washington, and I respect that state very much, and I'm being critical because we can at this point. I'm speaking to the choir a lot here.
Sure. There's no reason to not have an opinion.
And I meant speaking. I didn't mean preaching. So, I mean, that's sort of what I mean with it. When I heard it, I was extremely surprised. Maybe it was the way that the article wrote it. Maybe it was because I was in a semi-decently, you know, argumentative mood yesterday morning when I first read it. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I'm not argumentative. That's the wrong word. But it did kind of strike me as strange because if I was a voter here in Colorado and I knew that it was like, it just strikes me weird that they would go all the way to Boston for a firm there. But I guess it's sort of like, I don't know. From what I hear, the more I hear about it, it's sort of more of a dream team. But I still hold to my thing that it should be Washington's stake that's being held and everything.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just used to hearing about firms in Massachusetts being hired out around the world by different companies, different governments for whatever service they provide. There's a lot of information technology, medical. There's a lot.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's understandable.
So I'm not surprised one bit that they outsource this.
And this happens all the time.
Not saying they didn't have anyone qualified enough to do this in Washington. They just thought that someone was more qualified,
or they didn't
outside of Washington,
or they didn't want to maybe have like maybe they just didn't want to have bias.
Exactly.
I mean, there's plenty of reasons for it, but
point.
It just struck me as extremely odd when it first came out. So yesterday, if we would have talked about it, I probably would have given a completely different story. And I'm not saying that, you know, I don't know. I guess I have a more informed situation. So I'm slightly eating crow, I guess, today a little bit with what I post on Facebook. But still, the general outline of how I feel about it is still the same. And then I'm trying to put this into the other situation with Washington. It probably sounds like I'm rambling on here. Though I understand Washington's situation more and more. And as it goes on, I make sure I reach out and learn it. And last week, I've learned a ton about Washington's situation. And the problem is that I think, like I said before, it's being too careful. The 5 nanogram limit, people say that it's not going to be that big of a deal. But it's going to be a big deal.
Only for people who get caught.
And... Warren was talking today with a few people from Washington about the 5 nanogram limit, and I mean, it's one of the last things that the cops can hold on to when it comes to Colorado, Washington. I mean, they have tools, but that 5 nanogram limit is something that's, like last night, it was said a few different times. I heard in the crowd, that at a certain point, even it's like, man, they're gonna catch more people DUIs with marijuana than they are DUIs with alcohol. And that may seem like a semi-funny statement, but it's not really. I mean, that's almost as many stoners as there are in this state, as many people that smoke just, a couple times a week even, that would test positive above like a 5 nanogram limit. 5 nanograms may as well be 0. I mean, period. Right. It might as well be 0. Because you're not going to hit 5 nanograms. I don't think it's even.
It would take months for me.
You're not going. I mean, it goes from a certain point down. Skips over 5 nanograms. It goes to 0. I mean, you really can't be at 5 nanograms. That small amount. It might as well. It's 0. Period. Nobody's going to argue that. And that's why it kind of sucks in Washington, and to be thrown in that situation, to have, whatever is argued out, even if it's argued out that it's not per se, or, how DUIs are argued in. I'm always getting nailed on by Yellowana, so I'm trying to watch my words because she attacks me like crazy. You could still get a DUI in Washington for just having it in your system. So that's what's frustrating about that. The taxation system, God. I'll let you talk more.
I'm listening.
No, I'm getting more and more. You threw me off. I was thrown off.
I throw you off if I'm talking. I throw you off if I'm quiet.
I'm withholding some of my opinions about the situation too, because I don't want to tick anybody off. I want to watch it as things play out. So I'm maybe watching my words too much.
All right.
And I sound like an idiot. No, I don't.
Maybe you do. A little.
No, I don't. What's the chat room saying?
Oh, I don't know. I'm playing Tetris. A little quiet in there today.
It is a little quiet in the chat today.
What if we just stopped talking? Anyone would notice?
Probably. There's a lot of people that listen on the, a ton of people that listen on the podcast. So, I mean, that's your opinion on.
I'll tell you what. I really didn't seriously take everything into account that could happen with legalization. I heard people yelling that they were anti-legalization and more for decriminalization. And I see what a lot of those people were talking about. It's like Warren said this morning, it's going to be an interesting year. He said they were talking about third-hand marijuana smoke and the effects that can have on children, and especially third-hand marijuana smoke, not just on your clothes, but from grows. And can that affect your children?
That was something that was brought up today.
What the ever-living fark.
Or yesterday.
I only heard about it this morning.
There was a Colorado meeting today, too. Colorado Amendment 64. I can't remember exactly what they said last night, but it was like at 7:30 in the morning at the Capitol.
Today?
Yeah.
Oh, it's the hemp thing. Oh, that was yesterday.
No, that was yesterday.
Wow.
This is Amendment 64.
Task Force?
Yeah, we didn't even finish reading this article. Hold on.
Okay, all right.
God, I completely went about that the absolute wrong way. Didn't even mean to.
Start over.
No, it's good. I ain't scared. Let's see here. Let me read this other article too. The state of Washington, which legalized the recreational use of marijuana in November, has hired its first pot czar, $300 per hour consulting firm that will help sort out the complexities of setting up and regulating the cannabis market. Botech Analysis, as we said.
That's pretty cheap if you think about $300 an hour.
I mean,
for a
they're going to spend
consulting firm.
$100,000 on it.
That's dirt cheap. I didn't know this. I feel even better about it now.
But see, I've heard a few people say that it'll cost more than that.
Of course, people are going to say that. Who's saying this and why?
I don't know.
Okay.
But I mean, it is a pretty decent price. And how the process worked, I mean, it was a bidding process from what I understand. And
even better. Are you kidding me? It was fair. It was a bidding process. It was
112 applicants. I don't know, man. I guess I was wrong.
No further argument, Your Honor.
I mean, I was wrong. I guess I was wrong. But I don't.
It's all good.
I was wrong to attack it as the way I did.
I was
That's
curious.
what I should say.
I was waiting for I thought you had like a sneak attack.
It's fair. It's fair, and it sticks with my beliefs on how things should be run. And it's just because there's invisible lines doesn't mean that somebody shouldn't be involved with something. I think it's fantastic that other states, like Boston, that
Boston's a city,
like Massachusetts.
Yeah.
I meant. Thank you for pointing that
Sure,
out.
sure.
I may have just rolled over the top of that.
Love geography.
I mean, that's encouraging. That's very encouraging. I just got, I guess, old defensive me when it was like,
it's still Americans.
why is it not Washington?
Still
Like Washington
Americans.
should be doing it. Like,
It ain't the communist Chinese doing it.
but it's good that we have people that point out my wrongs.
You're welcome. And I wasn't saying
It takes
you're
balls
wrong.
to get up here and be wrong.
I wasn't saying
No, I'm
you're
not.
wrong. I was just
I'm not wrong.
bashing my opinion against yours, and it didn't match up. That's all.
I still hold to my opinion. I'd like to see complete stakeholders.
That would be
complete
great.
stake being held in Washington and see them do it and hash it out. But hey, in this situation, it'll spread probably a lot faster because from what I understand, it's a dream team coming together. You have a Steep Hill sticker on there.
I have a Steep Hill Lab sticker on my computer, yes.
Addison's wife was the one that told me about the Steep Hill situation with this Washington.
What is it? Steep Hill is involved in the Washington situation?
They're involved in the group, the Massachusetts group.
Oh,
what
that's
she told
right.
me.
Yeah. Addison's been
Botech.
He's been trekking back east, and I didn't actually know what he was doing back there, but I guess that makes sense.
Maybe we should bring him on.
Let's do it.
That'd be awesome. As you've suggested before. I was waiting for you to take credit for it.
I'm not like an asswipe like that, Tim.
See, I gave it to you. New law in Washington State will ultimately permit cannabis to be sold and taxed at state licensed stores in a system to be modeled after those in many states for alcohol sales. The Liquor Control Board has until December to set up such a system. Chief Executive of Botech, Mark Kleiman, will supervise a 30-member team, billing the state $300 per hour, according to the Liquor Control Board, which has allocated an initial $100,000 for the project. Kleiman teaches public policy at the University of California, Los Angeles, and has written a book about marijuana legalization. Botech subcontractors will include the California-based RAND Corporation and Steep Hill Lab, a marijuana testing facility in Oakland, California. This is a story that I found today. Didn't have it in the other one, which this one I think is a little bit more accurate. This is from this is off of Yahoo News, and the other one that I found was just a local station. Anyway, I'm not sounding like too hypocritical here, am I? Or too uneducated
pipe
about
down.
Washington?
Pipe down a little
I'm getting
bit.
completely nervous
How
here.
paranoid you are.
I know. I'm paranoid today. I feel nervous.
Put your back up against the wall.
Kidding. You're making it worse than it is. Not you. That was what my head was saying. I got distracted over here too. When did Katy Perry and Dude get divorced?
Who and who?
Katy Perry and that comedian dude.
Cootie Doody and Pootie Boo. I have no idea who you're talking about.
That's on the right side. We'll just skip over that. Maybe we'll get to that later. The world's eyes are upon us, and failing is not an option. David Lamtek, Steep Hill's co-founder, told press at a news conference in Olympia. The terms of the contract. What?
I was going to say, maybe your mustache is too heavy and it's keeping your mouth way down.
Possibly.
Look into that spring.
To shave? No,
Yeah.
Never. Everybody's talking about shaving, man, here in Colorado.
It's spring.
I don't go with trends.
Anyways, go ahead.
The terms. I want to finish this story. The
Why don't
terms
you
of a
give it a while?
contract between Botec and the Liquor Control Board were being negotiated and would be finalized after a brief period in which other bidders can challenge the selection, officials said. The team's lead members and subcontractors are among the world's leading experts on marijuana drug policy, said Chairwoman Sharon Foster in a statement. Their credentials speak for themselves. The previous story was a little bit more locally biased. I mean, the other story was a little bit angry.
You were a little bit angrier yesterday.
No, the other story was, though.
Maybe that influenced your opinion.
Usually,
Your
I haven't let that
interpretation
happen
of
in a while.
your interpretation of anger through text maybe needs a dialing in.
I just don't want to let that situation play off into this. I'm not trying to have a ton of pride here and be like, "Yo, if I don't know what I'm talking about, I'll say I don't know." I just said it, like hey, I may have been a little bit over the top on this, and most people didn't even notice probably, but people on Facebook probably noticed. So really, probably blowing this up into a bigger situation than it is and making it seem like I don't know what the hell is going on in Washington.
You ever been there?
No, I haven't been there.
Oh.
But as far as being informed, reading what's the outline of things there, I mean, the situation there is a lot like it is here. I mean, they've got a lot of framework to build a house upon, and I'm just questioning some of the struts that are being put in, that are not going to be easy to possibly deal with at a later point in time, by being too careful about the situation. And you know what do you know there's a big difference between here and Washington that I think gives us, a little bit more of that step ahead of things in our experience.
Is Washington going to take 2 years to put this into effect?
Because we have had dispensaries for so long. I mean, there's been dispensaries in Washington, but it's not even near the closest situation that would, I think give them as much experience that I think would make the people that need to be comfortable with marijuana legalization, to make it comfortable for people like you and I and the people in Washington to, you know what I'm saying? I mean, that made sense, right?
It's uncharted territory, so every move is gonna. You should be a little apprehensive, I guess, but
it's worrisome.
Of course.
But at the same time, this is also in the range of OMG, legalization happened. This is nothing bad that I'm saying. I don't think anything bad anything I'm saying is bad. I think it's being just overly critical about a situation that's awesome.
There's a lot of situations that people will that you weren't thinking about that night at Castleman's when you were celebrating A64 and I-502 passing. It was, a lot of things took me by surprise too. So you just got to realize that the fact that this is just new territory, so everything's going to seem a little scary.
It is a little scary to hear how many people are reacting to dabs, or how people are reacting to dabs, how open. I was continuing on what we were saying earlier. Did you have something to finish with?
I'm not surprised that how the general. We knew they were going to find out about dabs eventually. We knew it was going to be a secret underground special club card member thing only.
I heard a few people last night even say that they thought dabs were going to be harmful.
They thought they were.
They thought that dabs are gonna harm people.
Cheeseburgers harm people.
I know, but like, I mean, people are genuinely concerned about this, and it's like I mean, it's not. I don't think anybody needs to be that concerned about it. Are you going to say you're concerned? No, don't tell me you're concerned.
Concerned about
Health. Do you think this is going to turn into a health situation? This much this people just dabbing this
I
much?
think it's going to be more of a people blowing themselves up situation is going to get people's attention more than
100%. A few things I heard were like, I'm quoting anonymously here. A few things I heard, and what I had thought before, the only thing that could be really like crazy would be maybe you could like cough too hard, or the expansion could maybe.
Sure.
Those little balloons inside your lungs are kind of fragile.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think maybe if that were the case, and that was extremely damaging, then we would see like a mass like lung issue in our community. And I've heard of people having maybe a collapsed lung or something like that.
I know someone.
And I don't know if that's not. I mean, that's maybe quality, which will get better, and maybe there's things that can happen with regulation. And I'm not saying I want it, but maybe there's a middle ground we have here. Don't completely throw dabs under the bus here. All right.
Me?
No, I'm just speaking generally.
Okay, calm down, Fonzie.
Forget that you're not completely used to the whole radio.
Well, you gotta
pushing
put
it.
your eyes to me when as soon as you apexed your.
I know you're not used to me looking at you all the time. That's what it is, probably.
Yes.
I recognize how you could see that.
It was-
But no, I mean it's not a situation I think that everybody should be that concerned about. I think we would already see something.
What's gonna happen?
But that would be nuts if it took down right when we legalize. It takes down the entire process. Oh, that would be horrible.
I'll just smoke weed.
We would be the fail generation. God. For thousands of years,
Have to-
nobody died off of
Gonna have to
marijuana.
move out of Colorado for that.
And you went and ruined it. Nobody's going to die. They've already proven in laboratory situations and tests that the concentration levels can't even be, like, you cannot even concentrate it enough.
Professor Tim and the vague sciences.
No, when they did the test, a study. Shut up.
I like to know who they are.
I'm sorry, I said shut up. They are. You can look this test up.
Okay, you can too.
Which is one of the tests that's helping me get more and more into really, truly, truly understanding and not questioning the fact that someday cannabis is probably going to be some sort of ridiculously awesome medicine when it comes to cancer.
Someday?
It still is. It is today. Okay. No, it is today. I agree with you.
Someday more people will be open to it. It'll be a fact.
I'll buy into the fact that it is a cure someday and is a miracle drug for some people today.
Sure.
Was that good enough to say there without getting into that? Make sure I stay on top
of
here because we need to even go back to the Washington thing.
I like your open-mindedness.
So that's what I say there.
Yeah.
And this study is one of the studies that helps me with that, is because inside of a laboratory, they concentrated THC to something like 700%. It's something that we can't even, 700% times more
potent
than what we could get today. And it's synthetic THC, on top of it. And it actually like regressed cancer cells. I mean, it was like one of the most...
A synthetic THC that did
one of the best. See if you can find it.
Marinol?
No, it's not Marinol. I'll try and find it here in a minute.
Yeah, I don't really know what I'm looking for here.
I'm sure somebody will send it to me. Anyway, it's where I was going with that is we can't concentrate cannabis enough to overdose. I thought about the overdose situation more, and it's completely misleading and ridiculous to use the overdose.
Sure.
We got to think of something else. If I heard the damn S word ends in "erf," little blue guys yesterday. I heard a few more people. They're using that word. It's gonna get built into the system. Smurfing is.
Is it?
I'm gonna have to like deal with that just as I had to deal with dabs. God, I hated the word dabs for people that didn't know.
Did you ever see the video of on the BBC of the woman that they inject with?
Yeah, I saw that. She freaked out. Was all laughing.
She couldn't overdose.
Yeah. So I mean, we can't get overdose. When I think overdose, I think of like, oh my God, your life is in danger.
You can't get to McDonald's fast enough.
That's an overdose with cannabis, or you fall asleep.
Right.
Now, if you aren't sitting down and you're smoking and you don't know your body and you pass out and maybe hit your head or something like that, like that's, dude, I'm not gonna sit there and I'm not gonna throw weed under the bus and say that was completely. I think that was an accident of you not knowing what's up with your body and mistaking.
Smoke some weed, get dialed in.
Unfortunately, people were going to head to the bathroom a lot of the time if they, feel like sort of woozy or whatever.
Sure.
And if you fall in the bathroom, it's dangerous.
Have you ever fallen in the bathroom?
Falling in the bathroom is dangerous. Smoking cannabis is not dangerous. Smoking cannabis extract is not
When was the last time you fell in the bathroom?
dangerous itself. When was the last time I fell in the bathroom?
Yeah.
Dude, one of my biggest fears is like getting in the tub and like falling into a glass shower, like a glass sliding door shower thing, and then slicing yourself, and then like somebody, like the maintenance guy, like finding you,
Oh shit.
like all
Cut
dead,
up and full of shards.
in the bathtub. I don't know why. No, it's not one of my biggest fears. I don't like to constantly think of that all the time. That's just you just brought that up, and it was like
When was the last time you fell in the bathroom?
you put falling in that. I don't think I don't remember. I don't know.
I was just wondering if you were shaving.
I really don't fall that much. I don't really fall that much, dude. I've had fantastic balance my whole life.
Fantastic balance like a ballerina. Did you ever take any
No,
play any sports?
I did play sports. Played baseball. Did marching band.
Tap and
In
jazz.
my opinion, that's a sport. Carry around like this 30-pound drum on my back for like 8 hours a day during the summer sometimes.
You were in did you go to band camp?
Oh yeah, dude. We went to band camp.
Dude, is
for,
it
like,
true?
The flutes?
Yeah.
Probably. I think I was more into
The tuba bitch.
I was thinking of the clarinet players, the ladies, the reed players. They have to wet the reed.
It's hot, dude.
All right, let's move on.
Seriously.
Kidding. Hey, I'm a single dude. These things pop in my head sometimes.
You were single when you were in high school?
I was sometimes. But can you be necessarily? You had kid crushes in high school. Nobody knows what love is in high school. No, I'm
Imaginary
kidding.
wedding.
What was I saying? In high school, I was a high school kid, so yeah, I was into high school chicks. Now it's just getting weird. I'm not currently into high school chicks.
Starting to get into guys.
Stop! There was nothing said about that.
Nothing wrong with that.
Not that there's anything wrong with that. I'm just
Seriously,
like,
dude.
why do you have to
Feel
always
free to talk
constantly
about it.
poke me?
I'm just asking some questions.
That was the wrong way to go with that too. That direction.
I'm not poking.
I'm gonna sue you for sexual harassment.
Please.
What were we talking about, dude? 10 million different things.
Yeah, you were eating some crow about Washington.
I don't want people I don't want to lose listeners or people to think that I don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to Washington, because we'll be, completely honest
You can have an
about what's
opinion.
going on. I know what's going on. It's my opinion. I think a lot of people are getting offended at what my opinion is. This is one of the biggest topics that, I posted this up and it's got like
A lot of people.
60, 70 comments on it. Warren
Where?
got in on it
Where was this?
on my Facebook page. I posted up, it was like Washington. I was a smart ass about Washington. And Warren came in and talked about the DUIs, and then somebody challenged Warren and talking about stuff, and I was like, and I don't think really brought up social services and how it necessarily might not be able to be. I agree that it might not be able to be used in some situations, but social services, divorces, kid battles, this situation, like the 5 nanogram limit, the being too careful about this could play into that type of situation of courts being like, oh, hey, here, your kids are taken away. Oh, hey, I'm going to award all this money to him or her. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's a lot to look. I'm looking at more than just this, and I'm taking it in for what everybody's telling me. You know, I'm not in Washington, and you guys' opinions do mean a lot to me. But don't be too overly try not to be too overly sensitive, and I won't try to be overly over the top about it, because we all need to learn. Teach me about it. I'm not trying to say legalization sucks. That what you're doing sucks. No, not at all. People were trying to make me out to that yesterday. I got an email about that yesterday. It's
What?
like, no, it's not what I meant. Like, it did not mean that legalization. Even on the Facebook, they were like, "You say that like it's a bad thing that legalization is going to spread." And I was like, "How could I say that as a bad way? Anyway."
I'm gonna grab that cake. I'll be right back.
I made a point to say that to make sure that you guys understood that. You're getting cake. I don't know if I can do this alone. I'm kidding. All right. So we'll continue to inform you about Washington and talk about that, and I'll listen to you guys and not be an asshat about it. If you got anything to say to me, email me. I'm kidding. Let's hope let's move on to Colorado here, because I'm sure that Washington issue is going to come back to. This situation is going to continue to come back and haunt me. Eating crow. That's why people just don't admit their mistakes, because then people come and use it against them in the future. Like Bike. I admitted a mistake too early here. Within the first 2 weeks of the broadcast, now Bike's going to use it against me for the rest of my life.
Washington?
Is this even an interesting conversation? I halfway tried to make this an interesting conversation, too.
Have some cake. It'll be all right.
I'll make it boringly. Anyway, we're going to talk about Amendment 64. And this article in the Denver Post that got a lot of pass around, a lot of attention. Man, that cake does look good. Let me show the... Here, let me point the camera down at this. Look at how colorful that is. Waka waka. I got Chad's the littlest one.
Waka waka.
It like still like, you know. She runs across the room, and it's like amazing balance. You know, for someone
waka?
that hasn't been walking for that long.
Oh, I hear.
Like amazing speed. Climbing around like a monkey now onto things. I mean, I was around Lassam when she was 3 years old and after, and there's just something around like the age of like 2, 3 during that time. I think I'm pretty sure his littlest one is like 2. Chad, how old is your littlest one? Tell me in the chat room. Anyway, I don't want to get it wrong. Chad said he's getting weird in here. He's going to have to leave a while ago. But anyway, I got her the other day. She's learning just how to talk too. And the other day, I got her to learn how to say waka waka. So long story short, I'm sitting here just struggling, blabbering on here. I go back and listen to shows that I'm like, man, I wasn't that bad. I made it out to
You
be
used
worse
to talk
than
for
it
2
is.
hours by yourself.
I'm blabbering on here. No, I'm not. And you're over here eating cake.
Yeah, I'm powering through this.
This is
I'll be right here.
Oh, you saved me a piece,
You
didn't you?
get a big honker.
Nice.
I'm eating Chad's piece.
All right, the second hour is going to be focused. We're going to do good. Looks like AJ may have got cut up somewhere. We'll get him in here. Sunday is the meet and greet. And you can check out that information on Facebook. You should look that up for me, and we'll still give out that information for the meet and greet. Amendment 64. Let's hope the legislature has a mind of its own when it comes to Amendment 64, and that it stops short of adopting the entire set of proposals from the governor's task force on marijuana. The task force had to address a huge array of issues involving the growing and selling of cannabis and has rightly been praised for its overall work. Still, at least a few of its suggestions merit further debate. Here are Vincent Carroll with the Denver Post, he's a columnist. Here are his top 5. Here's the thing about somebody that writes in Denver probably and is in the news media, or really anywhere in Colorado. There's a good chance that somebody in the newsroom, if not the person writing the article, is a toker. I don't know if Vincent Carroll is a toker or not, but a lot of people speak from experience here in Colorado. I think even if you're not a toker, you can almost be considered
in the media, if
an expert witness.
If you're not a toker,
Completely.
you're a boozer, or you like cocaine.
Dude.
Or you're absolutely crazy.
That is...
You need a release.
Are you saying that about Coloradans?
Oh, just in the media, I said.
Oh.
Walter Cronkite, hitting a crack pipe after work once in a while. So no big deal.
What? Are you serious?
I've never met him.
No, that's not true, dude.
I used to see him on Martha's Vineyard once in a while.
Are you serious?
He didn't look like he's a crackhead. No.
Oh my god.
He looked like a very nice man, Walter Cronkite.
You saw Walter Cronkite at Martha's Vineyard?
On Martha's Vineyard, not at it, but yeah.
On Martha's
It'd be
Vineyard?
like I saw someone at Denver. It's a place. Yes, he used to live there before he passed away a couple of years ago. But he had a home there at least. He'd spend the summer.
Fantastic information. So you didn't see him smoking crack, though?
No, he looked like he was doing well. Just saying, don't trust the media. They like to party.
I think that was an era where you could trust the media, possibly.
Sure, before people discovered that it was a great tool to be manipulated.
That's
Great,
true.
powerful tool.
The 5 recommendations from this guy, from the expert witness in Colorado, we'll call him that.
What's his name? Reverend something? Did you say it was a priest?
No. Where did you get that from?
Thin air. I just made it up. That was my angle to ask you who this guy is again because I wasn't paying attention.
Vincent Carroll. He's a Denver Post columnist.
Oh, yes. A toker. He said he smokes weed for sure, 100%.
Taxes, although the taxes, number 1. Although the task force didn't make specific recommendation about the size of a special marijuana product sales tax, it raised the possibility of 25%. That's in addition to the 15% excise tax mentioned in Amendment 64, which voters would also have to approve.
Disapprove.
Existing state and local tax levies, and maybe a new local taxes as well. In short, cannabis products could face a total tax of 50% or more.
Sounds fair.
So, as I was getting on with Washington, it is my extreme concern here, too, that the taxation situation will be a big problem. I don't think any of us really... Some people probably were like... People were hitting the oh my god button. The taxes are crazy too high. When they knew it was going to be 15%. But see, nobody mentioned even up to 50%. I mean, that was not talked about.
Who said that? You?
What? People had problems with the 15% sales tax. I can understand that.
You're saying 15 or 50?
It's this. This guy says, in short, cannabis products could face a total tax of 50% or more.
Okay.
Perhaps lawmakers. But here's what I'm saying. That is ridiculous.
Take this song out of the bed, too.
You don't like this?
No, this is like a funeral procession.
I like that bed.
If you're talking about something really sad and you want to make people cry, fall asleep, or turn the show off, it's great.
I think I do a great job of that anyway.
Yeah.
So I mean, if we turn the tables, that's extremely concerning here. Now, I hope the lawmakers understand that one of the big reasons why it's concerning to everybody is because it's counterproductive to an industry that we're trying to build and make legitimate. Because, I mean, you got that high of taxes. Well, number one, it's going to be harder to resell stuff. Things are going to cost money. But still, the black market for people growing, I mean, it's going to be insane.
Have you ever shaved your head before?
Shut up. I'm trying to get serious today.
I am too.
I told the people that this.
I'm building up to something here.
I've gotten close to shaving my head. It's been like
I think you should shave
short.
big bald, grow a big old beard, and that should be your new look.
I haven't shaved in like a few days. So I got. Why you gotta distract me, Bike?
I just had a great idea, and if I don't say it, I'm gonna forget it, and it's gonna go unrecognized and usable.
I know that taxes are not the most interesting thing in the world, but this is stuff that we need to sit and talk about. Mike's here for the comic relief.
I hate taxes.
I'm really trying.
When you start getting serious,
Trying to get serious
when
about.
you get serious, I cannot help but be like, this doesn't feel good. I want to talk about something else.
Oh my goodness, we have to get serious sometimes.
Go ahead, hold my breath
and hammer them out. At some point in time, you're gonna conform and you're gonna start giving your opinion. You're gonna be like, you're gonna be like monocled out, have a monocle, and be like, yes,
Pass the Grey Poupon.
I think that is wrong. The only thing that's gonna work for me today is being serious. Taxes. It concerned me at the beginning, but it wasn't something that I was that worried about here in Colorado. Knew they were going to be high. Had no clue that these type of numbers were going to be thrown across.
How much alcohol that guy drinks?
Who?
Mark Stevens. Whoever you're talking about. Carroll. Mark Carroll.
In short, cannabis products could face a total... I said that. Perhaps lawmakers could shrug off that burden if it weren't for the specter of high taxes aiding the survival of the black market, which is a criminal swamp the amendment was supposed to help drain. As I just mentioned.
Like a dirty reservoir.
The risk-related markup in the black market is no doubt significant too, and no one can really say what a safe tax is. Here's the deal with, even if there's not a black market here, the high taxation, sending it out of state. For other states, cannabis being, as the authorities look at it, the higher price a drug is, the more dangerous it is. Would you agree? It makes it a dangerous situation.
The higher price a drug is, the more dangerous it is. Can I throw?
It's not. That is their thinking. That is their process. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. I don't. But if you have
the
a
higher
situation,
price doesn't mean it's better, for sure.
No, but that's how authorities will look at situations. They look at drugs, multiple ways. But in that situation of where you have, a market where this drug is costing, quote unquote, drug is costing a ton more than it used to. The market's going up. They're going to see concern with that. But you mentioned here, other states are already concerned with the export of cannabis.
Well, if they would all just legalize, it wouldn't be a problem.
That's true.
Why doesn't everyone just get along?
Goes into play with not having such a tight hold on things, that letting this industry play out. Medical marijuana. Nobody here in the Wild Wild West of medical marijuana, before we had regulations like we have now. People freaked out and had heart attacks because they were like, "Oh my God, cannabis is everywhere," but nothing crazy happened. Nothing.
Cannabis has always been everywhere.
Things improved incredibly. Places in the city improved.
Where?
Rejuvenation, South Broadway, for a specific example, the Highlands. There's tons of you could look everywhere. One thing that's been talked about in multiple articles is how, and in not only here but in California, is that how lots of certain buildings in certain areas were only getting cannabis tenants, dispensaries. Nobody else was wanting the buildings. So you bring in somebody that wants the building, rejuvenate the area because they have a sustainable business there. It's fantastic. And yet nobody can say cannabis is really... I don't know why I was
nobody
going to
can
say nobody can say cannabis has killed anybody.
Yeah, we know.
Completely didn't. Really.
I'm going to hit you in the head with the bong if you say that again.
God. See what it does when people start to talk about...
See?
You get brainwashed. See? Even people on our side.
I broke out of
start to spit out words that I don't mean. That was funny earlier when I almost choked on my water. when I did choke on my
You
water.
should do that on purpose.
No.
See how long it takes you to catch your breath.
Yeah, we were taking so long to get through stuff today.
I know. Where's this dude? He's not showing up, is he?
Doesn't sound like it. Did you look up information? We'll get to that here in a minute. The risk-related markup in the black market was what we were talking about. Since the excise tax is earmarked for schools, a modest marijuana sales tax should be put on the ballot if only to pay for regulation and enforcement. But 25% has the feel of a revenue grab with potentially unintended consequences. Vertical integration, which this was discussed about a lot last night, which there's multiple. In my opinion, I think vertical integration is going to look nothing like it's being talked about right now, which there's multiple ways. Like multiple rules that go into it. One of the biggest things that people are concerned about is the growing of cannabis. And to me, that's going to be one of the first things that's hammered out, and one of the first rules that's doled out. You're either going to have a situation to where people are growing medically or growing recreationally, and I can see the legislature wanting those things to be separated. Vertical integration being licensing. Chloe yelled at me yesterday saying I wasn't. Oh, there's AJ. Chloe yelled at me yesterday saying that I didn't know, but there's just multiple routes of vertical integration here in Colorado. That can happen.
It's not just the 70-30 route.
No, that's the big. Thank you. That's what I was trying to get at. God, I'm not doing a great job today. I do admit that. And the 70-30 rule is what is a big thing, because I mean, people were talking about how they're not going to be able to grow this much, and that's not my biggest concern with vertical integration. I don't think that's going to be. That's what everybody's defining vertical integration as, but I don't think that's what the legislature is completely looking at. That's not what that's being talked about with vertical integration. I mean, that's just one portion of it, and I think that's going to be dealt with pretty quick.
What are the
options
are there?
They're either going to delay putting off a decision until after everything happens and licensing is going to go a certain way, or right off the bat, they're going to eliminate. Medical marijuana is going to fix rules, and then recreational cannabis with this licensing is going to slide in right behind that. Which is one of the scenarios. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, which they might not even match up here at first. A lot of the rules. Go ahead.
I don't know. I know the MAD is dropping their name. It's just going to be called Marijuana Enforcement Division. And it sounds like they're going to be in charge of everything.
This means, vertical integration here. Come in, AJ. Nice to see you, dude. We're just talking, we're reading this article. I'm sounding like ridiculous. I'm really diving myself into the ground today. I'm being very, very self-angry today.
Uh-oh.
I don't know what the word is.
How can you be self-angry with an amazing piece of cake like that?
I know.
He hasn't eaten it yet. That's why.
I got so much. I'm not doing well at focusing today at all. That's the problem. Yeah, scoot up on the mic there.
Yeah.
Cool, man. AJ's here. AJ Hasman. We'll talk about the MMJ meet and greet here in a minute. We were pumping that up pretty good. I was pretty excited.
Nice.
You were telling me about the Bud Easter egg hunt.
Yep. Easter nug hunt.
Easter nug hunt sounds like a fantastic deal. So you hunt for nugs.
It should be a lot of fun. Yeah, we've got over 200 eggs already from Cosmic Candies that all have about 50 milligrams or so worth of some yummy candies in there. And then we're doing over 2 ounces of meds from VIP Wellness that we're loading up into.
What's up with that mic? Here, hold on.
Can you hear me okay?
Speak straight into it.
Okay. Oh, there we go. Much better. We got about 2.5 more ounces from VIP Wellness. We're going to be loading into the nugs for everyone to enjoy. And our comedian who's hosting this evening, Cameron vs. Humanity, has also donated a couple ounces of basically his own bud that he's going to be giving away, and some Easter nugs, and should be pretty awesome.
So it's this Sunday at the Aslan Theater.
Yep.
Off of Santa Fe.
Yeah,
And,
Santa Fe and 10th.
Where can people go to find information on the internet?
www.mmjmeetandgreet.com.
Okay, we'll talk about it here. I'm going to get through this story here real quick, but God, I jumped around so much today. I don't want to jump around too much more. Vertical integration. This means cultivation, processing, manufacturing, and retail sales must be common enterprise under common ownership.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's more than just growing. Why?
Yeah,
but
it's
why?
everything.
Yeah, that's what.
It's a nightmare.
That's what I was a little bit like. I think if I don't want to throw my friends under the bus, but last night it was a big concern among a lot of people about the growing. They were really pushing the growing, and it's including everything. This is what Denver Post article 5 suggestions that this writer sees and overviewing.
Nice.
Which I think everybody in Colorado is an expert witness, as I said here before you got here. Everybody's an expert witness in Colorado,
Nice.
even if you don't smoke.
You're right.
I mean, you're like, oh yeah, weed. we could all go to. Everybody here in the state is qualified to go to other states, and everybody in Washington qualified to go to other states and be consultants.
Yeah, profess.
I mean, for real, I'm not even saying
Profess
that as
the
like
green faith.
I don't even really mean that as a joke. That's
No.
that's almost completely serious. 'Cause
We've been in it. I mean, we've been in the shit. You know, like we've been in the shit for years.
people
you
that
know,
don't
we've-
smoke. I mean, it's
you know.
crazy, dude.
We've known each other for 3+ years just because of the industry.
Oh yeah, dude.
You know, and it's because of what we see every day and what we deal with every day. And, you know, what I've been really happy to build is the community side of it, which is what the meet and greet's about. And, you know, what a lot of us are about is making everyone work together to succeed. And that's, I think, a big flaw of vertical integration is that vertical integration is making the big boys succeed. It's saying, okay, if you have your own grow, you have your own dispensary, you have your own MIPS, you have all your own stuff, then you're good to go. You got yourself taken care of. But if you're a small company like ours that buys in a lot of what we work with, you're screwed because with vertical integration, you're knocked out of the business, period.
And I mean, I guess a major part of vertical integration is growing. So really what I was saying is like even more something ridiculous to say today because I mean, that is a huge concern with everything. I mean, it's because if you look at it, I mean, we're vertically integrated right now with the 70-30 rule with dispensaries, but there's certain things that are, I mean, exceptions. I mean,
that doesn't apply to edibles.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, so, I mean, the cool thing about it is that growers are being talked about a ton. That growers are probably going to have a bigger stake in this whole recreational situation, which is awesome. And I'm hearing them. That's one of the bigger echoes in this whole situation. And last time in medical marijuana, when we were forming the rules and coming up with things, that wasn't echoed a lot. They weren't.
It was dispensaries. It wasn't growers.
Yeah, growers were completely forgotten about. And now, and like Chloe was saying last night, you know, it's like these growers are like waking up and realizing, and right after all the regulations went into place, the growers are waking up and realizing they're like, hey, I'm not going to get paid $11, $12 an hour to literally make your business
hundreds of thousands of dollars for you every year.
Exactly.
Easily.
And that which is happening in a lot of places. I'm not saying that's the case everywhere, but a lot of the business owners, you know,
look at it as such, as a business
they don't
with
do
employees.
A lot. They don't do, I mean, they do work. I'm not trying to throw business owners under the bus here either, but at the same time, I mean, growers have haven't had an ability to really expand out, and they haven't had the ability to, I think, get what they 100% deserve. Well, that was apparent when they were making the rules.
Yeah.
You were seeing people get thrown out left and right. And that's maybe the way that things go, but it was unfair the way that things go. Because, I mean, the licensing, and that was like what I'm talking about from experience maybe a little bit with Washington, why I'm like hesitant, you know, with certain things that are going on there. Not with that specifically, but look, we've gone through things here that we're like, whoa, hey, we're going to fix. And I'm not saying Washington can't fix what's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's just maybe some of the framework and the things that are harder to change are what some of these things are being built on. So
yeah, it's scary.
I've been
it's a
jumping
little
around
scary,
like crazy today. So it's been one of those things. But here, that it's awesome. It's incredible to see that and to be talked about, and it's more and more becoming an issue. So anyway, I'll finish reading this one. Mike, you can. Mike just he gets quiet when we have an interview.
I'm learning. Go on. I'll chime in. Don't worry.
Good to meet you too, bro.
You too, man.
1 year. Let's see. Task force is urging that medical marijuana license holders get a 1-year jump on everyone else in filing applications for the new businesses.
Nice.
Which, I mean, we kind of figured that was going to happen. Even before
Well,
that.
we were hoping. We were hoping because we've worked so hard to get where we are.
It makes sense.
You know, it really does.
And as careful as the state was, with moratoriums and the licensing and all that, I mean, we knew that was something that was probably going to happen. And in fact, it was something that was like, our community never fought it. I don't think too much.
No.
It was something that probably was echoed off of us, and we were like, okay.
Well, and realistically, I think that should be even a longer term, to tell you the truth, because we have worked so hard.
It could.
I mean, it should be, truthfully, 2 to 3 years, because that's what we've all invested. And you know what that would do is it would, no pun intended, weed out all the people that are doing things now, but not necessarily doing them the right way.
Yeah.
You know, or give them the opportunity to step up and change the ways that they're doing it right now.
Yeah.
Say they have this huge increase of revenue with recreational, then they can turn to things that are a little more healthy for patients, like cold water, things like that, and healthier for the general public. You know, I smoke wax every once in a while, but I won't eat edibles that have wax in it because I know what that can do to my body. You know, plain and simple. If you're a patient, because it can build up in your body. You know, BHO is not something that we have ever, butane and other solvents, our bodies aren't used to. We don't know how it's going to affect us. And I already have so many issues.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm
very touchy on.
It's something that people can be.
Yeah.
From what I've read about butane, it's pretty inert to the body. But I mean,
yeah.
That's what we talked about earlier before you got here too, is like the concerns of that, and we will start to see patterns. I think if those situations happen, but people, I can see people being concerned, and there is BHO that's made out there that's something that I probably wouldn't ingest or smoke at all.
Exactly.
Unless I was on a desert island and it was the only thing I had, and somehow I and had a magnifying glass and was taking some sort of, I don't know.
And we don't know what goes into this food. We don't, any BHO that I smoke, I look at before I smoke. I make sure it's a nice light color. I make sure it's not all goopy. I make sure it's purged, essentially.
Yeah.
But what goes into edibles, we have no control over. You know, people have no idea if I put the shit hash into my stuff or if I put really nice hash.
Yeah.
They just know from the quality that they get the really nice hash.
But I think generally,
and it can be the same way.
But I think generally people are, I mean, I've heard a few stories at the beginning where the situation was like, but I think generally now things are pretty good, with people making.
And here's
because I'm hesitant about edibles too, in this.
Yeah.
I mean, not that they just don't necessarily work for me, but I'm the same way. As like, I'd be more worried about the quality of cooking and the
sanitation, the kitchen aspect.
But I think people are doing pretty good now. I mean, from what I've seen and what I've heard.
It's interesting.
But you would probably
it's all
know more.
over the place. It's all over the place, I would say.
You do more than just the meat and greet, by the way.
Oh, big time. Yeah. I mean,
I've been in the edibles industry for a while now.
Exactly.
Hash making side of it for a while now.
Yep. Me and Nicotine are two of probably the bigger cold water hash makers out there, and we both are very
with your
passionate.
own methods.
Exactly. We're both very passionate and love what we do and have our own niche. I make the Dutch-style pancake hash that a lot of people see around, and he makes the more grainy, solventless wax that everyone sees around too. But on the other end of it, butane, there's so many variables. There's the shatters, the waxes, the butters, the purged, the non-purged, the air purged, the vacuum purged, so many different things. And so many edible companies that I've seen are like, oh, well, this is a great extract. I'm getting, tests at 70, 80% THC, but they're not bothering to purge it at that point because why bother? You have 60 grams now. Why drop that down to 37 grams by purging it when you're already at 80-some%?
Yeah, I mean, there's people that are definitely doing that. But luckily that the standard is being raised and there's less and less people doing that.
Less and less, exactly.
Because I mean, just judging from the Rooster contest, the THC Classic,
great. Yeah.
That, I mean, I saw fantastic extracts, and there was only a few that were not so fantastic.
Yeah, and there were some really good edibles too.
Did you judge part of it?
I was with a bunch of my friends when they were judging, so I got to
I think
sort
I saw
of
a picture
sneak peek.
that was up. Yeah.
Yeah, I got to sort of sneak peek some of it, but our sticks were entered.
They did a pretty good job.
I didn't judge it.
They did a really good job of picking judges for that. I mean, it was a pretty big who's. I mean, I'm not saying I'm
great
a who's who or anything, but I mean, I'm very privileged to be part of that group that judged it more and more here of who was in it. Continuing on with the vertical integration thing, Now, the task force recommended vertical integration and this situation, and recommended in 3 years it be reviewed. And I mean, it's because of the example that has been medical marijuana for a while. Is why that went into place. But this writer, Carol, writes in here, but look how hard it is to change rules governing the sale of alcohol in this state if a proposal steps on the toes of liquor stores. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's like the farther we move on, in 3 years, it could be, outside interests than what should be happening. Money may play into it a little bit more in 3 years, and we know that'll probably happen.
And lobbyists,
the bigger,
like
deeper
that.
we get into this here in Colorado, this is going to be a massive, it already is, a massive industry.
And
I mean,
movement.
the tourism, when I was going home last night, it just is now starting to hit me how big and how massive what we're doing here in Colorado is going to be not only in Colorado, but the entire world.
Worldwide.
How many people are going to come here? The tour. Yeah. This is going to be such, if we do it right, this is going to be one of the...
We're going to be a mecca of the U.S.
We're already an international city
cannabis mecca.
And growing, but it's going to be like Amsterdam, dude. It'll be better than Amsterdam.
Oh, it's better than Amsterdam because it's actually really legal. And it's also going to open up options to everyone out there. Once these 1 or 2 years go by, and it's not just dispensaries or head shops or places like that selling cannabis, people like 7-Eleven, Safeway, places like that are going to realize the kind of revenue that they can be making, and that's my dream.
That would be cool if that would happen.
Oh, my dream is for, a raver after a party at 2:30 in the morning to be able to go into, King Soopers, go to the service desk and pick up a couple sticks, to go home and chill out with.
Would be one of the last ones to integrate cannabis into their situation. One of our, we've talked about this on the show before, and I won't mention this too often because at first they didn't want us to mention it. But CPM is one of their locations is next to a King Soopers, and King Soopers was not very friendly about it. A bunch of, I like King Soopers though. I liked King Soopers a lot before that, but now I'm like, damn.
They should be excited. They go, they smoke, they eat more King Soopers food.
I thought it was ridiculous, man.
Yeah,
we are families come here.
So? Whatever. How else are you supposed to sell that?
It wasn't even right next to the King Soopers.
I know. These go to dispensaries.
In Colorado, that's what happens. Like four stores down, it was where it was. Ridiculous. Anyway, 3 unspecified limits on the numbers of licenses held by a single owner. Coloradans obviously don't want an oligopoly. Is that how you say that?
Yeah. It's like a fancy monopoly.
These damn writers. Of marijuana barons, but the state's interest will hardly be served if we end up with a system similar to booze, where 1 store per owner is the rule. Non-resident purchase limits set below those for state residents, which would be really cumbersome on tourism and create situations to where we don't want people prosecuted for. I don't want people coming here to Colorado and facing any more of. I don't want them facing any more of a penalty than we have here in Colorado, because just as that invisible line, we're all Americans, we're all people. Anybody from the entire world should be able to come here and be offered the same rights and the same situations. So even before we read that, in my opinion, that's a no-brainer.
Well, you know how Amsterdam is, right? Have you been over there?
I haven't been over to Amsterdam, but I feel like I know Amsterdam very well because so many people around me.
Yeah, exactly. Derek, everyone, all the guys at Hood Lab know.
Everybody I know's been there except for me. The bike.
But essentially, it's you can go into any coffee shop and buy about 3 grams. So it's setting a limit like an eighth, basically.
Yeah, no, I know they have limits like the 5 grams.
It's saying like, okay, if you're from out of state or a tourist or whatever, you can go into a shop and buy an eighth. If you're an in-state person and you're not a tourist, you can go in there and buy an ounce. I think that's great, but I also think in a lot of ways that's sort of counterproductive to what they want as far as eliminating black market. Because what's to stop someone from going in and buying an ounce every day for a week and then giving it to their friend because they want 4 ounces?
Yeah.
Realistically, if anyone can go in there and buy an ounce, then they're putting the money in the hands of the store that needs to pay taxes, that needs to document it, that needs to have that revenue go to pay the people that are really working in the industry and the people that are actually growing the bud, rather than paying the people that just have the privilege of living in the state and being able to buy more.
Yeah, it's and I didn't even know that this. I knew that the situation of whether tour. It didn't even come to me at all that this thought would even cross anybody's mind to limit people coming into the state, because to me it's like it's a right. Like if you're
why?
in Colorado, like what?
Yeah.
How
Get your ounce.
It wouldn't. I don't think it would be. It would be. It's unconstitutional.
Mm-hmm.
This shit isn't our constitution.
It is in our constitution, exactly. Yep.
God, the Constitution is abused. This may be what Attorney General Eric Holder wants to see, but it's still obnoxious, says this writer, Carol. Americans have been free to go wherever they want in the country and buy whatever is legal there, and we shouldn't be tinkering with that principle.
Just like alcohol. That is
Echoing
not
what we said.
regulating it like alcohol.
Yeah.
Just like what we've passed. If they don't say you can only buy one bottle of Jaeger. They don't say that. Oh, if you're an in-state resident, you can buy 4 bottles of Jaeger, but since you're from out of state, you can only buy 1 bottle of Jaeger.
You should be able to control yourself when it comes to alcohol.
Exactly.
Period.
Yes. And cannabis, I mean, it's not like you can buy a toxic amount of cannabis to kill someone. Sure, you can buy 5 bottles of Everclear and kill someone with it. Force it down their throat. And I mean, we know because of the leaf blower. You can't do it.
We haven't talked about the leaf blower here on the show yet. We've God, for people that don't know the leaf blower, man, it's pretty much like a leaf blower that blows out a pound of smoke in like 30 seconds.
Yeah, just picture a 1/4 ounce of weed that gets burnt in about a minute and turns a tent into a soup.
Yeah, you can't see in front of you. You really can't.
Yeah, soup.
Look online and look for the Hoodlum
Hood Lab leaf blower.
JDR Party leaf blower. Amsterdam leaf blower.
Yep.
We did it after the High Times Cannabis Cup when who was there? I can't remember who was playing. I wanted to say Kid Cudi, but
oh yeah. But it wasn't that one. It was the other one.
Damn, I
can't remember though.
That was an awesome night.
That was fun.
That was one of the funnest nights of my life.
Yeah.
That concert was fantastic.
Sick.
In this massive warehouse.
Yeah.
And out back afterwards, we whipped out the tent.
Mm-hmm.
Clam baked everybody.
Well,
maybe we have talked about that a little bit. We have talked about it before because I mean, you're like covered in resin and you just smell like a campfire to yourself. But then you walk
a can of fire.
Exactly. But you walk near anybody else and they're like, "What the fuck did you? What did you bathe in this?
Did you roll yourself into a blunt?"
Yes, I did. All right, let's finish up this so we actually get to talk about more about the meet and greet. Non-resident purchase limits set below those for date. We talked about that. A ban on billboards, television, and radio ads and other mass marketing campaigns on behalf of minors. Maybe banning ads from public airwaves will pass legal muster, but banning all general marketing is likely to run up against judicial rulings on free speech, even commercial speach. It's not going to happen.
Exactly.
They're lucky they got away with the sign twirlers.
Sign twirler.
They're lucky they got away with that. And there was an article yesterday or sometime this week about how effective sign twirlers were for businesses.
Yep.
And I wanted to ring.
It's
our
literally
side fought for part of that.
A 40 to 60% increase, no matter what it is. No matter what it is, whether it's a hairdresser, whether it's anything, a sign twirler brings in business.
Yeah, dude. They're just afraid of throwing it in people's faces, which in Colorado here, it's already in every
evident.
It's everywhere, and it's not throwing it in people's faces. What's throwing it in people's faces is trying to keep us taboo.
Exactly. It's trying to ban it. It's trying to get this out of it.
It feels uncomfortable at this point in time in the state.
Yeah.
I mean, it really does. And the politicians are realizing this, and they're not going along with a lot of things as much as they used to. Steve Zansberg, who specialized in the First Amendment and media issues, tells me the proposed regulations would raise serious constitutional concerns in light of the fact that they call for a broader ban on mass marketing campaigns and of now lawful products than one found unconstitutional. There's where I'm getting to with this. It gets wordy here. Lorillard Tobacco versus Riley in 2001. There's a precedent set for not banning
advertising
for across the board for a product. Colorado may be entering uncharted territory with recreational marijuana, but that doesn't mean we can't uphold traditional freedoms, promote meaningful competition, and treat the new business fairly.
Exactly.
100% agree. I mean, it's fantastic. Vincent Carroll from Denver Post wrote that. Some great concerns. And that's why I say, again, Colorado is a fantastic state, expert witnesses, because it's like the only people that act uninformed are the legislators, city councils, people that still think their ass needs to be protected. It's like, if you actually came out of less an asshat about cannabis, then maybe you might get some more votes and you might stay in office longer.
Well, and the most frustrating thing is that they hide behind children.
Yeah, that is one of the biggest
Which
things.
is the biggest frustration for me. I mean, I'm a parent. So many of us in the cannabis industry are
I think
parents.
we all have that experience with kids, and it's like, dude, come on, you're harming my kid more in the long run than you are.
Well, and alcohol is harming your child more than marijuana by far. You know, the Captain Morgan ads.
Yeah, we don't without
that
even bringing
are
that
people having fun. The beach ads from Bacardi with them all dancing on the beach having a great time. What does that say to children? Oh, drink alcohol, you're going to have a good time. We don't do that. You know, we approach it more as a medicine, as something that helps you, and as something that is for people of legal age and who have actual ailments.
Yeah, I mean but also at the same time, I mean, when it was a situation when I had Lasan around, and when she was old enough to be put into a situation to where Dare was coming in, and talking to her about the under the counter products, and it's the first thing that they introduce in drug education classes is the poisons.
Yeah,
it's a great gateway to turn everything on them. No, it's like they talk about bleach and the things under the sink, how dangerous that is, and stay away from those. And one thing with Lasan was I was like, there's people going to tell you that this is something bad, that this is something horrible. For me, it's something that I use to help me relieve pain. And for other people, it helps them with this. And, I never wanted her to think that it was something taboo, but I wanted her to understand that people were going to hate on people for it. People were going to try and punish unjustly people for it, and you take a risk. And there's that way of thinking. There's a way of like just, not necessarily hiding it from them, but hiding it from them and sort of being more protective of yourself. Because that situation, you could have a kid go to school and be like, no, this is not the case. Like, and then as in Dare classes, they do a lot of the time, press the kids to not almost, but to rat on their parents.
Exactly.
To rat on their elders. And that's
silly.
That's insane.
Yeah.
I mean, they push for that. At one point in time, police came in. I told this story to Jen this morning on the way here, Chad's wife. She brought me here. Thank you very much. And at one point in time, Lasan took a couple mints to school, and one of the kids was like, oh, it's a pill, And the police came in and sat down and talked with, Lasan. She was like not even in third grade, dude, second grade, and sitting there having to be questioned by police and parents. Or not parents, police and teachers. No parents there.
It's crazy.
Dude, it blew me away. It was
a violation of her rights, actually.
Pissed me off so much. I mean, there's everything I
police
could
are
do with that.
involved,
Not
you
go
need
down there.
someone. You need someone over 18 who can make educated decisions.
And we didn't even find
to
out
represent that child.
We didn't even find out until Lasan came home
And told you, yeah.
and told us that night. And it was like later on in the night.
Yeah, crazy.
And it was, I think the cop went in and, if I can remember right, went to like 7-Eleven. Because we were like, dude, it's a mint. Like they showed the mint and it's like, dude, it's a mint. And they went down there and, okay, well, I think it was on the phone. The cop was on the phone and asked,
what type of
Luann,
mint?
my girlfriend at the time, asked what type do you think this is? And then got mints that he thought it was, opened up the package and goes, yep. Dude, I'm like, that situation, you want to sit there and yell at whoever is there that violated your space, that violated your rights, and tell them, look, do you understand? This is why people don't enjoy the company of police.
Yeah.
It's because it's just overly people.
It's abused.
It's abused. And there's so many people out there that are hypocritical in situations, with kids or whatever. They would not be okay with the situation at all, but then they'll look at another person and be like, "Oh, how dare you?" But anyway, I mean, so it's sort of like you're walking a tightrope there by that situation. But I didn't want her to ever think that this. I thought it was worse for her to think that cannabis was a harmful drug, and then possibly try it at some point in time, and then
realize
be like,
it was
okay,
not
it's not that harmful.
And
I'm gonna
say
try something
you've been
else.
lying to her your whole life.
I'm gonna
or
do something
whoever's been
else.
lying to her.
Yeah. Say the DARES program, and then do something else.
Yeah.
That fear to me was worse than
Exactly.
almost anything.
Exactly.
Because I wanted to bring her up right.
If they've been lying to me about cannabis, what else out there have they been lying to me about? Heroin,
That's one of the-
crack, what?
And maybe that's my own personal experience there with that, because my
It's
dad.
true.
My dad would constantly tell me, he'd like, I would much rather see a joint in your hand than anything.
Yeah.
And that stuck with me.
Yeah.
And I've told that story multiple times. That stuck with me, and it's a reason why I didn't do, any other drugs. And I didn't really go overboard here.
Yeah.
Recently here this past year, I got in alcohol. There was slightly a painkiller situation involved with that, with anxiety pills. And at some point in time, I'm sure we'll get in more deep into that situation that I went through, because there's a lot to learn from that. And there's a lot that, last night talking with a few friends that, a few people were like, have you talked about that? Have you, is that something that you've pushed off on the show? And because, I mean, it's something that, we've always been on the John Doe Radio Show, is connecting people, connecting my experiences, people's experiences that are guests, and, people listening get to be a part of that, and then they come here.
Yeah, hell yeah.
But that, I mean, I never wanted that to be the case with her, and I think it worked out pretty well. And I think she was smart about these things, and in growing up, and from what I've been updated on, I mean, she's a responsible kid with that situation.
Yeah. Well, it all comes from being a good parent.
As
And
far
that's
as,
the
like,
biggest
keeping
thing,
away
being
from
a responsible parent, being a good
irresponsible
parent,
people.
and being an informed parent who informs their children correctly. Because we don't know what our children get told at school. We don't know what they talk about on the bus.
Yeah.
And we all know that they're going to develop their own opinions.
Yeah.
They're going to ask their friends, oh, what are mushrooms? Oh, what's acid? Oh, what's pot? Oh, what's this? What's that? And instead of having it come from their friend's mouth, who is another 13-year-old that's probably misinformed, that's where parents come into play, and where good parenting comes into play. And you actually explain these things to your child and tell them what the real deal is.
I mean, we can't sit here and keep lying to children.
No,
we
why?
can't sit here and keep trying. I mean, we could keep them away from it. Keep them away from marijuana and cannabis or whatever. But in my opinion, the more you make it a hands-off thing with them, and the more
they're
that's
gonna
talked
want it.
about it and joked about
Yeah.
in the media and TV shows and stuff like that, it's going to become a thing that they're like curious about. That they're going to be like, okay,
exactly,
and fight. I think against what, and this is just parenting. My thoughts on parenting, whatever. You're being awfully quiet over here.
Sorry about
I'd
that.
like
Should I cough louder next time?
to. No, I mean,
The bigger the stink you make about weed for kids, the more they're gonna want to know about it.
Exactly.
Yeah, and if you're trying to keep
It's
them
not
away
a
from
big
it,
deal. And
If it's not a big deal, they're not going to make it a big deal. Just like wine in Italy.
but I understand also the side that
I
where
agree.
people are like, no, we just can't even. It is a big deal. We can't even let them be near it. We have to be harsh about it, And I mean, I know there's that out there that parents are like, no, we cannot even. And I'm not even talking about parents who are lax on marijuana, that smoke, that are. There's people out there. I'm talking about the drug warriors, the people that are absolutely
exactly.
against legalization, that are against this. There's that way of thinking for parenting. But then in my experience, the friends that I've had that have had more strict parents, at some point in time,
They revolt.
they kind of revolted a
They
little
do.
bit.
They
and
revolt.
Snapped,
Yep.
man. And my
Straight
situation
up.
was my mom gave me a lot of leeway, and I had a pretty damn good upbringing. At the end of towards the end, when I got into high school and stuff, I mean, we butted heads, but she gave me rope to hang myself with.
Exactly.
She was always
To
holding
have
on
your
to
own
it, but it was like,
experiences.
and I was always like, okay, well, she's pretty open and honest with me. My dad played into a lot of that because he was extremely open and honest with me.
Yeah.
And I mean, and I was afraid in my situation, when my parenting, my upbringing, I was afraid to do wrong, afraid to do, anything more than marijuana, and to do bad in school. I still made my mistakes that I made because, I mean, I'm a bullheaded person and I learn the hard way every time. But I mean, it was something that really kept me away. So I'm a true believer in just not saying, look, cannabis is horribly bad. The thing is, if you want it to be that way, like say, look, cannabis is not something for kids. It's not something for anyone who hasn't figured out what they're doing in life. You don't need to try it until you were an adult. If that's the way you want to go with it, then that's as strict as I think you should be with it.
You can say your brain is still growing and developing, and in your youth, cannabis cannot help you per se. But once you get older, feel free to try it. It's not that harmful, but it's not going to help you right now. It's not going to help you do better in school. It's not going to help you, achieve what you want to achieve at this moment. When you're comfortable in life, when you're doing what you want to do, you want to try it, you want to experiment with it, go ahead. But the best example that I like...
But saying lies about it is what I meant.
Exactly.
As far as going overboard, that's what I meant.
Well,
as far as that's the worst you should get with parenting. I mean, parent however you want to parent, but don't lie.
Don't lie to your children.
Don't lie about this drug because it could be
because then they're not going to trust you.
It could be damaging in the future. Yes.
And the biggest thing is, the biggest comparison I like to make is, say you have a 16 or 17-year-old daughter, okay? She decides to go out to a pot party. Okay, she sits on a couch all night.
Because we have those here all the time.
Gets super duper stoned, and most likely eats a bunch of Cheetos and gains 5 pounds. Now the other end of it is your 16, 17-year-old daughter goes to a multi-kegger. Yeah. Okay, she ends up getting too drunk. She passes out. Her friends strip her down naked. They take pictures of her, put it on the internet, and it ruins her life.
I mean, we've all seen pictures of people passed out in the toilet. Or girls passed out with their head completely in the toilet.
She gets
passed out on a bench.
Or she gets sexually abused.
Which is what happened here in where was it? Those two 16-year-old dudes that CNN was like, all these poor kids. I watched the CNN coverage partly, the few news clips about that the other day, and it was like, are you kidding me? Exactly. And I mean, maybe it was spun a little bit by people that put together clips and stuff, but I couldn't believe some of the things that were being said about it. Like these kids... Number one, these kids that raped this 16-year-old girl while she was drunk. I mean, it's rape. They're getting 1 year sentenced to at least 1 year in prison, possibly 5 because they can be kept there until they're 21. Dude, that is you committed a physical crime. Exactly. You were a harmful person.
You ruined that woman's body for her life.
16 years old is not necessarily a child anymore that don't know what the fuck they're doing.
You're not talking 11-year-olds.
So if you're going to punish somebody, you better... talking specifically...
You better find out who got that alcohol
Well, no, specifically with cannabis is what I'm trying to keep this on here. There are people... Chris Barkowitz went to 5 years in prison for cannabis. Mark Emery, 5 years in prison for cannabis. Robert Plashorn, who we had, 29 years for cannabis.
Yeah.
People that commit child molestation gets,
a year.
In some states, it's harmful, but in other places, there are 7 to 9 year sentences, and they don't even serve that all the time.
Yeah.
And granted, they got to go and register and do all that, but that story, I didn't get into it and cover it because I'm trying to keep a little bit more cool,
positive,
cool and relaxed tone here on the show so as I'm coming back. But as I'm getting more comfortable with things, I get a little bit fired up. That story drove me nuts, man, when I saw that.
It's really frustrating.
I couldn't believe it blatantly points out the disparities that we have when it comes to the drug war and what we need to be punishing with real crimes. Dude, we totally rolled over into every time we had. Dude, it was fantastic sitting down and talking to you and getting back and forth. I love that, dude. I love getting to talk to people that have been in the industry for a while. You're one of these people that have been around here since the beginning, pretty much.
Basically, yeah. And I mean, once it started getting bigger grows, I sort of came out and said, I can make really good hash, and I've been making it for a really long time, and I'd love to show you guys my talent. And
you jumped on the business.
Exactly. Jumped on the bandwagon and sort of started doing that as a private caregiver to start. I mean, I had about 30 patients at the time, so I could take 40, or 4 or 8 pounds of trim from people and process it for them. And started off like that and then worked my way through the industry. And now I basically have my own company that we do something that no one else in the entire country does, which is pretty awesome, I think. And with our at-home baked mixes where you can take it home and make it yourself and have your own fresh edibles, but they're consistent and they're safe, And then we rolled out
when did you Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you
no.
off there. I was gonna. When did you start the meet and greet?
The meet and greet has been over 3 years now. We've done, this will be our 29th event this month.
Nice.
We were the first all cannabis event, period. We were the only one to take the focus away from alcohol or anything else like that and put it specifically on cannabis.
Well, I remember when you first started the events, it was like one of the big. I mean, it was a big uproar of how open, the situation was. How it was like, okay, come all patients and
smoke
and hang out and get to know each other, smoke, medicate. I mean, not everybody
get
even
informed
smokes.
about the community.
Check out some businesses, meet each other. I mean, that's why it's called a meet and greet. And there's
Exactly.
so many. I mean, not only. I mean, I compare. There's multiple situations like this that happen. Like the Hood Lab get-togethers that we've had, other parties. But this situation unique. Every situation unique. The Hood Lab situation unique. The other parties that people have had. The other get-togethers. The conventions that we've had. Those didn't continue to work out, did they?
No, not really. Well,
and the meet and greet, which has been something that's been a standard here in the scene, that it's been popular, and more people are showing up, and it's a extremely positive thing in the community. I've seen you grow, AJ, over the past 3 years. I mean, it's that's something that's great that I point out on the show quite a bit, is watching everybody just kind of blossom in their own thing. I mean, it's good to see you keep that going and continue to grow yourself. So,
and it's been so amazing and interesting to watch it all happen too. I mean, sure, I am the one that organizes it and puts it all together, but realistically, this has always been about the patient.
Yeah.
And I've always thrown it as a patient. I've never thrown it as At Home Baked or Sticks or anything like that. You'll never see my logo as the page for it on Facebook or anything like that. All you see is we're on the links page as sponsors of the event and that type of stuff. But it's about patients. It's about the dispensaries that supply the meds that literally basically give them away to the patients. Sure, I purchase them, but it's for an extreme discount.
The way that the way that you're doing it sounds like that you've worked it out through. I mean, you say that. And it is approved by, Denver Police.
Denver Police. I work with the Lieutenant of Vice every single month. I talk to him. He informs the police in whatever area of town that we're in about the situation and that it's been approved and everything like that. We actually have worked with the MMED.
Is it classified as a private get-together?
Correct. It's a private event. And
which takes leniency on the police side to be, okay, this is a private event.
Yes, exactly. Well, and truthfully, a private event can do whatever the heck you want.
It could be,
to tell you the truth. But I've went above and beyond, going to them and offering up this information
to avoid the police coming in and being like, "This is not a private
knowing
event."
what to do exactly.
And they've been very responsive to it, which, in my opinion, for the most part. Colorado's unique, man. In that, and maybe it's just the same, in parts of California and Washington and Oregon and Michigan. I'm hearing, and Michigan, some places not so much. Rhode Island. These are fantastic places that are starting to see more and more here. But like every time I hear somebody talk about Colorado that's come here from another state, they're just blown away by the openness. Yeah. Unless they're from California. Or,
totally.
Really, California is the one that I mentioned. But that's interesting, is how open it is, and that was a big thing at the beginning. It was really questioned. They're like, this is a really open event. Is this kosher? And and it's turned out. No real. Have you had really any big issues?
No, never actually.
Besides the roof caving in on one of your places.
Yeah.
Not when the meet and greet was going on.
We've moved around everywhere, and like I said, this has always been about the patients and community. Yeah. And we've done events all over the city, all over multiple cities here in Colorado. And that's been a part of the growing process. And it's been an amazing process, and we've really loved working with everyone and exposing everyone.
Yeah.
And something that I'm really proud about too is that, you know what? I've never charged and will never charge a dispensary, an edible company, anything like that for a booth at our meet and greets.
To come and pass that information and stuff. So.
To give things to the patients.
Okay.
Period. If they're giving things away to the patient, that's all I ask. Okay. Bring your product, purchase your product, and give it away. Don't pay me $500, $1,000, $3,000 like the event coming up. But spend that $3,000 to make a bunch of product and give it to the patient so they get to know where your best foot forward is coming from, why you're doing this, what your stuff tastes like.
I can understand why a dispensary would want to be involved. If I had that money, I would definitely be involved with as much as I could.
Mm-hmm.
But there's something I was going to say there. There's still a few points in here that are lenient, and you've built it because you've just sort of hammered on through it, and that's
definitely.
and that's something I think that's important to point out, is that I don't think necessarily everyone could have built an event like this, had it go build up as much as it has. The police, be as forgiving with. I mean, it's a lucky situation and it's a hard work situation,
Totally.
both. So it's you started at a time where it was like, hazy. I'm not sure that the situation would go over now. I mean,
no one knew what the hell was going on.
Without legalization, I'm not even sure we could have started something like that up, at before pre-legalization. So it would have been questioned quite a bit, but you did it at a good time. Anyway, we are running out of time here. What was
I want one other thing. The evolution of the meet and greet for non-patients is going to be my newest event called Canna Rave.
Canna Rave?
Canna Rave.
Canna Rave.
Look online, CANNA
Bring it back to rave.
And it's going to be an all cannabis rave. It's not going to have any alcohol at it. All your food and beverages are going to be provided, snacks, everything throughout the night. And it's just going to be a chance for the cannabis community to get together, listen to some good techno, and have a great time.
Awesome. So it's going to be a rave.
Yes, and it's going to be
rave.
And it's going to be for everyone, not just patients.
Awesome.
So that's what's really exciting for me and sort of our next step. And the meet and greets are going to stay patients only and keep growing exponentially, because that's how I'm able to get medicine from the dispensary through me to the patients, so that the people that can't drive around to 20 different dispensaries and try a little bit of bud from all those different places have one place where they can spend $10 and try everything.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Well, I appreciate you being here with us. I apologize to everyone that we went over so much on time, but I wanted to make sure that we did talk about that meet and greet. I wanted to get some meat into this broadcast a little bit. Ended up being great. I think it went over well. You were quiet as hell over here.
I'm just listening, man.
He's just high.
It's probably not that high. Is the problem.
Yeah, he's not high
it's
enough.
been 2 hours.
All right. Thank you guys very much. Thank you to our
thank you.
sponsors at Compassionate Pain Management. They have 2 locations. Lakewood, 1585 Quail Street, number 13B. It's right there in a sort of shopping center mall type situation. So 13B is a little misleading. It's not inside of an office building or anything. It's just right there, storefront. And they have one in Louisville, 1116-7 West Dillon Road.
And you can pick up at home baked at both of those locations too.
Oh yeah, awesome. Louisville, Colorado, 80027 303-665-5596. Go get yourself some fantastic products. That's Compassionate Pain Management, a holistic wellness center, and MMJ dispensary. Also, Element 420, fantastic CO2 extract that we talked about yesterday. Big fan of it. Love it. Element 420 in Evo Lab, 82 South Federal Boulevard in Denver, 303-945-4774, 303-945-4774. Big thanks to Warren Edson, Edson Maton and Mats. Criminal defense, medical marijuana business consultation, 303-831-8188, 303-831-8188. Thank you, Warren, for your continued input on my questions. I just bombing him with questions left and right. Every chance I see him just up and around, I'm asking him something. So thank you very much for helping me out with guidance on these questions that I have of legalization, everything going on here. Have yourselves a fantastic day. I do apologize big time. We went over so much. We'll try not to do that too much more. We're trying to keep a square schedule. He's like, shut up and just get it going. All right, Bike.
Gotta pee. See you later.
Fantastic. Have yourselves a fantastic day. We'll meet again tomorrow. And on the show, we'll have Mason Tavert. Good times. This is JDR. See you.
The John Doe Radio Show is produced by Charlie Stash Entertainment. The John Doe Radio Show is not limited, but includes information on counterculture subjects and is informational and entertainment purposes only. We specifically include responsible marijuana reform.
Listening to anyone but your mother is just like stupid.
We accept no responsibility for your actions or misrepresentations, and we do not fully endorse the use of illegal drugs. You are ultimately responsible for yourself.
Live.